The world is facing a major plastic crisis. Plastic pollution is found all around the globe. Plastics are negatively affecting people and the environment at each stage of their lifestyle. Plastics are not only damaging their life but also altering their habitats to a great extent. Currently, I am in Lahore and you can see tons of waste plastic behind me. This waste plastic is found all over the world, from landfills, as you can see, to even the deepest part of the ocean. Plastic pollution is a major stressor all around the globe. But how did this all started? Let's have a look into the history.
Plastics are being used to such an extent throughout the world that we may well ask what was used before its discovery.
The first synthetic plastic was invented by Leo Baekeland in 1907. Since then, plastics were not very recognized until World War II, when the military realized how versatile it could be.
If you're old enough to remember the old-fashioned glass windscreens, this is what happened when you banged your nut.
The war ended and the plastic industry needed to find more ways to promote the industry.
Both sheets and powder are now being dramatically applied to peacetime living in hundreds of beautiful and useful ways.
Food stored in Baggy's plastic bags always have the sound of freshness.
Plastic began to be used as a packaging material for storing food and as a waterproof material.
In a new plastic decorator container.
Put them in a polyethylene plastic bag.
And to brighten up the plastic tree, plastic decorations.
Nowadays, everything can be made in plastic.
Being disposable, there are no empties to collect.
Vinyl and asbestos on the floor.
In fresh sun, sea, and sky colors.
This proved a kick for the plastic industry. By 1960s, world was already producing 400% more plastic than before. Today, the world is producing more plastic than steel. The plastic that is stuck in the environment is causing some serious problems. In this video, we will study the effects of plastic pollution on ecology, biodiversity, on organisms at molecular level, and ultimately on evolution. 1.
Plastic pollution can have various effects on the ecology. The accumulation of plastic wastes in the ecosystem, which can lead to the physical and the chemical changes in the environment, including altering of water, soil chemistry, reducing the availability of resources, and the damaging habitat. This change can have a negative impact on the ecosystem of the various organisms, like distributions, abundance, and the behavior. Plastic pollution can also indirectly affect ecosystem by disturbing nutrient cycle, food web, trophic interaction, and microbial communities. Additionally, plastic pollution can lead to the introduction of the new native species, which can further disrupt the ecological balances.
The effect of plastic pollution is on the marine ecosystem. Of the 275 million metric tons of plastic produced annually, 15 million leak into the ocean, damaging livelihoods and ecosystems. This results in an $13 billion annual environmental damage to the marine ecosystems. Animals can be injured from broken glass or plastic even if isn't swallowed. Fishing line or other string can become wrapped around animals' legs and necks, causing fatal injuries. Large wild animals are not immune either. They have been found with their heads stuck in discarded buckets, cans, and plastic containers. Marine animals that become trapped cannot find food and shelter, and mammals cannot swim up to the surface for air. Even if the plastic is removed, the deep cuts it can make in flesh can become infected or draw the attention of predators. It's a dreadful fate, and with an estimated 640,000 tons of ghost fishing equipment floating in our oceans, it's a fate that will likely affect millions of living things. Researchers estimate that over 1 million animals die each year after becoming entrapped in plastic. Each year, more than 100,000 dolphins, fish, whales, and even birds drown after becoming entangled or eating plastic. This is just the verified count of impacted animals. Many more deaths remain unrecorded. Marine animals are not the only ones affected by the plastic pollution. Bright-colored plastics, cigarette butts and balloons look foraging to the birds but cannot be digested. They stay in the digestive tract forever and blocking the food passage. Eventually, the bird will starve. That is what I am talking about. All those birds and cows, they are just eating plastic. Plastics also impacts the delicate food web on which we all depend. Smaller animals that ingest microplastics and microtoxins are then eaten by large animals. This ensures that the plastics and toxins make their way up the food chain. The larger wildlife and even domestic animals become the recipient of a significant amount of toxins which are stored in the fatty tissues simply by eating and drinking. This causes a host of physical ailments for every creature involved, including us. Coral and sponges support very diverse bottom and fish communities. These are sessile animals that often have a rough, spicy surface. This renders them particularly vulnerable to entanglement and coverage. Thus, plastic bags and plastic bottles are also causing major damage to coral reefs, disturbing ocean life cycle. These are the effects of plastic pollution which can be seen and visualized. But there are the effects of plastic pollution that cannot be seen by naked eye. These are the long-lasting effects of plastic pollution on evolution and on organisms at molecular level.
At molecular level, plastic pollution can contaminate the environment in various ways. The microplastics can be ingested, inhaled, or unconsciously consumed as they are too tiny to be seen by naked eye. Ocean is the main affected area by microplastics. These microplastics can cause disruption of immunity, metabolism, alteration, oxidative stress, cytotoxicity, neurotoxicity, carcinogenicity, and also affect reproductive capabilities. In terms of fertility, this means that the microplastics can enter the human body through the skin, ingestion, or breathing can interfere with the hormonal and reproductive system of both men and women. This can cause increased reproductive toxicity and decreased testosterone level. Microplastics are found in more than 100 aquatic species including fish, shrimp, and mussels destined for our dinner plates. In some cases, plastic have also been found to block our digestive tract and forest organs. The most concerning thing is that microplastics make their way into the bloodstream with only 1 week of exposure. As plastic pollution can affect the organisms at molecular level to the greater extent, this can ultimately lead to the disturbance in evolution. Plastic pollution can have the potential effects on the evolution of species. In some cases, exposure to plastic pollution can lead to genetic changes and adaptations in organisms that allow them to best survive in plastic pollution. For example, some bacteria have evolved the ability to break down the certain types of plastic. However, plastic pollution can have the negative impacts on the evolutionary fitness of the species by reducing their reproductive success, altering their behavior, and reducing genetic diversity. Plastic pollution can also disrupt ecological interaction between species, such as changing predator-prey dynamics that can ultimately affect evolutionary trajectories.
Pakistan is facing a severe plastic pollution crisis due to the lack of proper waste management, public awareness, and infrastructure. Plastic waste is a common sight on the streets, on beaches, and in waterways, causing damage to human health and marine life. The government has taken steps to solve the problem, such as banning single-use plastic, but the enforcement remains weak. Serious steps are needed to be taken to address this pressing environmental issue. We need to find ways to eradicate the plastic pollution. We need to adopt the 3Rs principle: reduce, reuse, and recycle. If the use of plastic continues as since 1950s, the worst is about to come.